Good morning, everyone. It's Zia here with Chasing the Moon. I am once again down by the river, where I often am. And I didn't know what I was going to talk to you about today. Before I get started on this video, I just wanted to mention a little something that's been concerning me. So my subscribers are going up. They're going up very slowly, but so if you're watching regularly and you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it. It would help me out immensely, and it doesn't cost you anything. And it will enable other people to see the videos too. But one of the things that I've noticed that's troubling is that the views are way down on the videos. And I think it may be because, I know some other YouTubers have been noticing this too, it may be because a lot of you are watching the videos on your TV now and are not hitting the thumbs up. So if you could check that out, if you're watching on your television and you haven't been liking, if you do like the videos, please check that out and give me a thumbs up. And let's get the views back up again so that I can carry on bringing you content. Thanks, I really appreciate that. Today I want to talk to you about something that's been on my mind for quite a while. And that is, after having lived almost 3 years as a full-time nomad, the things that I think you need to know before making that decision to become full-time. Now, having said that, I know that there are many people out there, and the numbers are growing every day, that don't have a choice. And this is not a video for the people that don't have a choice. My decision to become a nomad was partly financial, partly feeling that I didn't have a choice if I wanted to have a life and be able to do things, because rents were just, or not just rents, but just life in general was too expensive. So it was partly a decision made out of necessity and partly out of desire. And I know there are a lot of you who watch my channel, a lot of my subscribers who talk about they can't wait for the day that they can do that. But here are the things I think you need to really consider seriously before you make that final decision. I'm sorry about any traffic noise. I'm on actually a rather busy street. So this is sort of the why, where, what, when, how questions to ask yourself. Why do you want to be a nomad? Is it because you want that sense of freedom? The excitement of travel, seeing new things, meeting new people. That was what it was for me. I think I've always had a bit of wanderlust my whole life. And so that was a big part of my decision. But why do you want to be a nomad? Really dig deep on that. Is it just because social media, YouTube channels have made it look so romantic and so perfect? That's not the reality most of the time. We have different issues to deal with as full-time nomads, but we still have issues we have to deal with every day. We have to figure out every day where we're going to sleep that night. We have to decide where can we go to get water. Where are we going to dispose of any garbage or any waste in our toilets? Like different considerations. So really ask yourself, why do I want to become a nomad? What is the underlying reason for that? And is that something that I want to do for the rest of my life? Where do you plan on living? Do you plan on being constantly a nomad who travels? That's the kind of nomad I like to be. I am happiest, filled with joy, when I am on the road and experiencing new places and new people. But I have realized after 3 years that, especially living in a bus that uses a lot of gas, financially, that's not really available to me. And that is the kind of nomad I want to be. I am a traveler, not a camper. I like to be on the move. And is that something that you want to? And is that something that you can afford to do? And do you have a vehicle that will allow you to keep traveling nonstop? Because the wear and tear on your home on wheels could end up costing you some money. So that's something to bear in mind. Do you want to stay mainly in urban or suburban areas, close to family and friends? There's a comfort in that. That's where I've been for the last many months, and I do like that. But it's not easy to, especially if you have to still in an urban or suburban setting, that's not an easy thing to do. More and more in the past 3 years, I have seen less places available for nomads to stay overnight. Cities are putting in bylaws that you can't stay anywhere within the city limits in a vehicle overnight. Signs are popping up everywhere. Even in the city that I live in, I'm seeing more and more restrictions every day. It is becoming a huge concern because the population of nomads is increasing. Do you own a piece of property that you can use as a home base? I think for any nomad, that is the ideal situation. If you can have a home-based piece of property that you are allowed to stay on in a vehicle, and that you can come and go as you please. I know an awful lot of nomads, especially groups of women, are planning on buying a piece of property together as a home base, and I think that's a brilliant idea, especially for a lot of us senior women. What do you plan on living in? And is that a financial reality for you? We see these dream van conversions that are professionally done. If you can afford to do that, that's fabulous. It will be comfortable, and I'm sure you'd be very happy with that. Are you planning to self-build? Can you do that? Do you have the tools? Do you have the wherewithal? Physically, this bus was, for me, my plan B. I planned on turning this into a tiny home and living in here. Renting a piece of property somewhere, maybe sharing with some other women. But I don't have the physical wherewithal anymore to do what needs to be done in this bus to make it livable full-time through all seasons. And I don't have the finances to be able to afford what I would need to do to make this extremely comfortable. As I get older, I'm 73 now, and I've had some joint replacements. I have some arthritis, and those are things that require some level of comfort. So bear that in mind, especially if you're a senior, man or woman. In the next few years, are you still going to be able to live comfortably and do what you want to do? What kind of nomad will you be? Will you be relatively stationary? Will you be out in the back country? Will you be camping with others? Will you be solo? questions you need to ask yourself. And when do you plan on doing this? Are you planning on waiting until you're retired? Are you planning on doing it now? And if you're doing it now and you're not retired yet, how will you support yourself? Can you work remotely? Do you have skills such as being an artist or a traveling masseuse or tattoo artist that could go to fairs or like the bus fair that happens in Oregon? Can you sustain yourself financially? I have found that on my old age pensions, on my security, my social security, I guess you would call it in the States, I can live this lifestyle, and I can still afford to go out and have coffee with friends and do a little bit of travel. You can do it. It's not always easy, but you can do it. But that's something you have to really figure out. How will you maintain this lifestyle financially? So that's the how. How will you finance yourself? How will you finance the vehicle? Are you planning on selling a home that you own or an apartment that you own in order to buy yourself a vehicle you can live in? That is something that I think needs to be considered very, very carefully. If you have never done this before, other than in a holiday capacity, I think that selling your home, if you don't have to, until you get some experience with living long periods of time as a nomad and seeing what it's like out there and how hard or how easy it is for the way that you want to live, I would highly recommend not selling or giving up your rental until you know that you can maintain this kind of lifestyle as long as you want to. And that's the last question of how. How long do you plan on doing it? Are you planning on doing this for the rest of your life? And is that realistic? Many, many questions to ask yourself. Now, having said all of that, I have to say that living a nomad life, deciding to live a nomad life, has been probably one of the very best things I've ever done in my life. I got to know myself very well. I got to know who I am and how I want to live the rest of my life. Now, if I could have done what I needed to do in here, and I could have found a lovely piece of property where I could have placed this little house on wheels, I would have been probably happy doing this until I reached a point where my kids wanted to put me in a home. But, or I decided to put myself in a home. But seriously though, it is one of the very, very best things I've ever done. I don't regret it for a minute. I saw things, I met people, I met myself, who I authentically am, and I am so, so grateful for the experiences I've had and for what this adventure has taught me. Now, after 3 years, a lot of you know I'm on a wait list for a seniors subsidized apartment. I have no idea how long it will be before that comes up. I had one subscriber tell me she was on a wait list for 12 years. I've been on the wait list 3. If I have to wait that long, that's going to be a hardship for me. I am hoping I will get into something by the time the weather turns cold again this year. Now, right now it is May. We're coming into warmer days. the summer months, the lovely fall. I'm looking forward to it. But when the winter comes again, in the past I would have gone down somewhere like Arizona and met up with friends that I have down in the United States, and I would have stayed down there for as many months as possible, the coldest months of the year at least. But with the political climate now and all the uncertainties between Canada, here where I live, and the United States, I'm reluctant to go down there now. I've heard some stories about Canadians traveling in their RVs and vans, having not pleasant experiences. And I know the majority of people everywhere in the world are kind, and the chances are that I might not run into anything like that. But I'm worried enough that I won't want to go south of the border down to the warmer states. Sorry for all the noise. I won't want to go south of the border for extended periods of time for the foreseeable. And so I have reached a point where things are becoming so difficult in urban settings. More and more people, out of necessity, going into vehicles. It's only going to get harder to live as a nomad unless you can be on BLM land or up here Crown land in the back country. And the wait lists for seniors housing are getting longer and longer. My ideal, my dream at this stage of my life would be to be in a tiny house, not necessarily a house on wheels, but a tiny little cottage in a rural setting somewhere. I've said it before. That would be my absolute dream. Something that has, because I'll tell you, this is one of the things, here's something to think about. What will you miss about living in a sticks and bricks, living in a house or an apartment? One of the things that I've missed the most is gardening. Now, I couldn't probably tend to a large garden anymore, but certainly having pots of flowers to do up in the springtime and to enjoy through the summer, I've really missed that. And maybe a little garden patch to grow some salad makings and perhaps some cut flowers. I've really missed that. It's one of the things I've missed the most, is being able to be out in the garden. Now, I can be out in nature. Right now, I'm sitting on the side of the river again. And at the end of this video, I'll put a little clip of my view at the moment. But, yeah, I've just been thinking an awful lot. I know that I have reached a point in my journey, my nomad journey, where I feel I am done. I did what I wanted to do. I got out of it what I wanted to get out of this lifestyle. And if I had to keep doing this, and if I have to keep doing this for the foreseeable, I can do it. But I would rather at this point in time have a home base again and be able to have a smaller vehicle that I could still go on road trips in. Something that's a no-build that I could somewhat easily maneuver in, not like my tiny little Transit Connect, but something comfortable enough to go away for weeks at a time or even a month at a time. I still want to, I don't want to give up the sense of joy and freedom I get from being a nomad, from being connected to nature, because right now and always, nature is so healing, and I think we all need that right now. So I don't ever want to give that up if I don't have to, but I do feel that the way things are going for nomads, especially in the kind of situation I'm in, it's becoming more and more difficult. Every day, it's becoming more and more difficult. So I don't want to I don't want to put you off if you're excited about it. I don't think anybody could have stopped me from my dream of driving all the way from one coast of Canada to the other the year I turned 70. Best thing I've ever done. Amazing. Confidence boosting, insightful, exciting. I'll be grateful for that and for the memories I have of that forever. I really will. So don't let it put you off, please. If you feel you want to be out there on the road and you want to be a nomad, you go for it. You go for it. But seriously consider the things that I've mentioned in this video. And know that it's not always beautiful scenery and an easy life. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was so worth it. So with that, I'm going to say bye-bye for now. And wherever you are in our incredibly beautiful world, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I love you all, and I will see you again soon. Now stay tuned for my view. It's not sunny today, but it's still a pretty lovely view. Bye-bye.